The fact I'm a football coach. It's a competitive thing. I despise for people to beat us.
To Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. 85 yards. Back is Dorsey to throw. And he throws it in the end zone. It's incomplete. The Buckeyes win the national championship.
It's Everything Buckeye Nation, the voice of the fan, with your hosts, Jake Smith and Corey Boyd.
Welcome in, everybody, to a very happy version of the Everything Buckeye Nation show here on EBSN Online. I'm your host, Jake Smith. Next to me, as always, Corey W. Boyd. Producer G over there mixing it up for us. Appreciate you tuning in. And
I had to hear it one more time.
Oh, welcome in, folks. Happy Tuesday. The Buckeyes had a big-time win, in case you were living under a rock, 27-26 over the Penn State Nittany Lions in Happy Valley on Saturday evening. Some folks jumping in the comments section already. Our friends Kyle Barr and Laura BP and my mama OH. Hello, everybody.
I-O.
indeed.
I-O, yes.
Man,
Yes.
this is going to be a fun show, man.
Yes.
I'm-
I said that with anger and happiness.
Anger?
all
Where's the
at
anger
once.
coming in?
Because I was in, Buckeye groups and Facebook all over the world and just giving up. Just the, it's over. We lost. Bring in Tate Martell.
Oh, no.
Stop it.
I didn't see that at all.
Oh, my good. I mean, the way we give up so easy. I'm like, calm down, people. It's not over. Did we not see what happened last year?
Hey.
Come on, people. Michigan fans. Yay. Yay. Oh, shut up.
They struggled real bad with Northwestern, as Aaron Cox says in here already. Michael Egan also says the Browns got robbed. He's right. That's for another conversation, another story. We got to get Corey Boyd feeling good in here, folks. So let's talk about the Buckeyes' big win over Penn State. Kyle Barr says, I said Ben Victor would have a breakout game. Didn't quite have the breakout game, but his play was so key to the win. Benjamin Victor, of course, scored on the 47-yard touchdown pass, going up and out of his body to make that catch. That was ridiculous. What was more impressive to me was the after the catch. In my personal
He's a red zone target.
Yeah, right?
Red zone targets usually
Sure.
don't break away for touchdowns. Now, rather slowly he moved, but slowly to the end zone, and that's all that matters to me.
Cross that pylon, baby.
And Laura says everybody on cardiac medications.
I tell you, I felt like I needed some after that game. That's for sure. Before, during, and after the game. I called you after the game. I was
Yes,
like,
you did.
bro,
Well,
this
and
is
ridiculous. And
ridiculous.
you can tell the fans, I was pumped.
Yes,
I
you were.
was yelling, saying some words I wouldn't say on this program because kids could be watching.
Hey,
but I'm telling
It's
you,
a family show.
I was out of my mind because I'm telling you, the whole game, Penn State was winning. I know their fans were yelling and chanting and thought they were doing something. I know they probably went to betdsi.com.
I'm sure they did.
And they laid their
did.
bets down, and they were happy and cheering all over the place. Thought they won some money. They thought they had it in the bag. And no, whether it's J.T. Barrett, Dwayne Haskins, whoever, the fourth quarter always makes them cry.
Sure does. Always an exciting comeback. That's for sure, at least the past 2 years. The past 3 years have been outstanding games between the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions, so that'll be fun to watch going forward. But let us know what you think in the comment section. What were you doing during the game? How did you feel with the big win, the comeback? I mean, hell, we were down 2 scores with under 7 minutes to go. I know I wasn't feeling too confident at that point.
I don't think anybody was too confident. Now, I'm not going to lie. I am an honest person. I keep it real as much as I can. My guy, Dwayne Haskins, had the worst game of the season. I seen people jumping ship already, ready to go. It's over. I'm like, yo, it's his first road game against Penn State, senior
test.
quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
I do see a comment on here. Aaron, shout out to Aaron. Thank you for making that comment. Let us know where you guys are making your comments from. Let us know where you're at. Where did you watch the game? Where were you nervous?
614.
Right. Where were you having your heart attack? As the highlights will be coming across your screen. And he's right.
I was having a heart attack right here.
Haskins was inconsistent outside of the pocket. He says going to get scary against the better teams, but that's the adjustment we have to make. He's not an outside the pocket kind of guy.
Well, so far he hasn't, it was definitely a rough go of it for him against Penn State. He was absolute money on all screen passes, which is great, and ended up really winning the game for us. It was really our only consistent offense the whole game. Yeah. But he did step up in the pocket and make that throw to Ben Victor, who did the rest. Boy, that was exciting. Yeah. That was exciting.
And I like the adjustment that Ryan Day made. They're blitzing. They're bringing heat. Okay, fine. We're going to start throwing some screens.
Yeah.
Because Haskins' deep ball wasn't working. A lot of his downfield passes wasn't working. The beginning of the game, it was working. It had some drops. The Barry drop that turned into an interception.
Oh, God.
That was killer.
Hit him right in the mouth.
So he said, let's start throwing some screens to negate the pressure that they are getting on Haskins because they were getting to him, and he was throwing some ducks.
He was. He was definitely struggling early on, and I think a lot of that was due to the atmosphere, so I'm glad that he got that experience. This is the type of win, a season-changing win that will sort of motivate you, and any struggles that the Buckeyes go through from here on out, I think, they'll come back a little bit in their minds to this game and think, dude, if we did it there in that environment, we can do it anywhere.
I think this is a great thing. Amber says she was in the hotel trying not to scream and wake up everyone. Kyle says, I'm hoping this makes OSU realize. I said that one. I'm sorry about that. Kyle says, I was scared to death. I was out of my chair, jumping up and down, yelling. John says, I didn't know if I wanted to laugh, cry, or hit the TV. And Michael Egan says, what worries me is not that he played bad. He looked straight up shook.
It's funny. He did look a little shook in the beginning. He was overthrowing some balls. Mm-hmm. He was underthrowing some balls. He didn't seem to be super confident, the confident Haskins that we've known so far this season early on in the game. Mm-hmm. And then when we started coming back, there was a play, I think it was right before KJ Hill's touchdown that you just saw. Mm-hmm. They got a shot of Haskins' face, mm-hmm. and he was mean mugging. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that, man, but that was over after that. It was like, damn, this boy.
What I think we have to realize, and me myself, I am a prisoner of the moment, is that he put up almost perfect numbers against everybody he's played. TCU, he had a couple moments where he wasn't perfect as well, which was another I wouldn't say top echelon opponent, but it was better than what he played. Yeah. And he went into a tough environment. And then I think a lot of us expected him to go, he'll go, 28 for 33, 300 yards.
Another perfect game.
It didn't happen. And at the beginning of the game, I think he was like, oh, wow, this is tougher than I thought. It's not that easy. Mm-mm. It's not easy.
In that environment.
Yeah, it's not easy as I thought it was going to be. But the fact that we won the game and played as bad as we did without Bosa, Pryor getting ejected from the game.
Oh, that was bogus.
Arnett getting hurt, which he doesn't. He's a whole other story for me.
Dude, I saw Damon Arnett in a first-round mock draft today. You believe that?
Yeah.
I don't. For one matter.
Yeah, he's who the Giants take? Apple?
Yep.
Eli? Yeah, okay. Y'all go ahead with that.
Sure.
John Harbaugh says John Harbaugh's in
the
New
building.
Lexington, Ohio. And Timothy says I died and came back in Charlotte.
Thank you, Timothy.
Came back.
Glad to see you.
We're glad you are here. Laura says at the bar in northern Colorado with 100 Buckeyes.
Wow,
woo!
There are some pretty serious Buckeye bars around the United States. It's pretty cool. I mean, everything, the Buckeye Nation shows out. I know my father was in, I think it was Denver last year for a big game, man. He said he was at this Buckeye bar that was going crazy, man. I'd love to experience that. Absolutely. Good stuff.
What you got over there?
Well, I got a whole lot of comments. Amber says she's from Bergholz, Ohio, but watched the game in Shelbyville, Indiana. Stone Mountain, Georgia for Ricky Brown, down there fighting the good fight in SEC country. Timothy Roberts says Trace wouldn't have had such success if Nick Bosa was playing. I definitely agree with that.
Definitely agree with that.
And then a couple play calling comments here. Aaron Cox says, I feel like our play calling has changed since Urban came back. Mm-hmm. And Michael says, why no downfield shots?
They did have downfield shots, and they're running the wrong receiver down the field. I don't understand why my guy that I said would have a breakout game, which he didn't. I don't know why Austin Mack is the one going downfield.
He's not the speedster.
Yeah. Paris Campbell should go downfield. KJ Hill can go downfield.
Johnny Dixon.
Johnny Dixon has went downfield, and that worked, and we put it in the back pocket for whatever reason. I don't know.
This is where you bring it out.
Yeah.
You would think.
They're not going downfield, and they're sending our possession receiver down the field who gets no separation. So if the pass is not perfect, it's not going to work. I don't understand it. The shots they did take down the field was incomplete because, first of all, the pass wasn't perfect. And second of all, Austin Mack, he gets no separation when he goes deep.
He's not a deep ball receiver, but that's okay. He can impact the game in other ways. Some more comments here that I just clicked out of because I am a genius, but I did see my guy Justin in there.
Yes.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you,
Mr.
Justin.
Wendell.
Make sure I stay on the mic. I was fading away for a little bit. Can't do
Fading
that.
away.
Richard Flowers says Haskins a 96-yard TD drive in the most intimidating atmosphere in college football. A Heisman moment? Question mark.
Well, I think it's definitely a possibility to be his Heisman moment. Now, there wasn't necessarily one specific moment, I thought, but just going into that environment, taking the punches to the gut, coming back strong, finishing strong. I mean, hell, our offense was almost perfect in the fourth quarter. When it mattered the most, Haskins stepped up, did what he had to do, got the ball to his playmakers, and here we are celebrating a big win. And it really didn't look pretty early on. It looked like we were in some serious trouble. But, down 12 with under 7 minutes to go, Ben Victor has the 47-yard touchdown. 35 yards after the catch, which was the most surprising to me, that he hasn't really been that yards after the catch guy, like you said earlier, more of a red zone target. But here he is making guys miss. Paris Campbell and Johnny Dixon had great blocks on that play.
Yes, they did.
And then we got our shot. I remember telling the folks I was with, we just want a shot. They punted the ball down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line, and people were thinking, damn, man, we got to go 96 yards. I said, hey, we just wanted a shot. We go 96 yards in 8 plays. Do we get that stop for big plays from all over the offense? Dobbins, huge screen pass, 35 yards. Mike Weber picked up 11 yards on a 3rd and 3. Paris Campbell took a screen for 14 yards. And then KJ Hill had the 24-yard touchdown on the screen pass. Made a man miss. Austin Mack had a great block out there. And Terry McLaurin didn't have a catch all game, but took out 3 defenders on the game-winning touchdown, and that's why he's so highly regarded for Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes.
I want to thank everybody for making comments. Trying to get to your comments. I see one from Corey.
Oh, boy.
I'm not even going to butcher that last name.
You can try.
He says, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, lived in Chicago, San Diego, Miami, and now in North Georgia. Find Buckeyes every time I wear my jersey.
Way to go, Corey.
Yes. Thank you, Corey.
He's a true member of Buckeye Nation.
And Kyle Barr says, excellent point, Corey. I completely agree. I believe he's talking about the downfield shots to Austin Mack.
I believe so.
Thank you, Kyle.
There's KJ.
Kyle says, yeah, that's pretty much it, though, Trace. Trace is a better runner than JT personally. Talking about Trace McSorley.
You know what was crazy about Trace McSorley is I felt like we all knew that was coming, and
we didn't do anything about it.
We couldn't stop it. Tough Borland looked slow. He looked absent, like he didn't know what was going on. He was supposed to be the spy on him on one play, and he was fading out to the right, or I guess the left side of the field, depending on which way you're looking at it. McSorley takes off, and he's trying to run after him like, what the hell, man? I know they got Browning in there after that.
That just made me. I knew what was going to happen. It's like 3rd and 6. He's just running.
You know he's
going to run. One read and then run, and we couldn't stop it. Tough Borland can't spy on McSorley. Stop it. He's not athletic enough to spy on McSorley. Natasha says, "Hey fellas, Dobbins reminded me of Zeke Elliott."
Dude, Dobbins had a great game, not only rushing the ball but also through the air. Speaking of, Zeke Elliott had an absolutely ridiculous game.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, he did.
On Sunday. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But good time to remind you the program is brought to you by BetDSI.
Yes.
Go there and insert your promo code Buckeye is 18.
Mm-hmm.
They will match up to $500.
They will.
A free $500.
Free. And I am a witness. I went. I put in. I bet. Not on the Buckeyes, on my Browns.
Hey.
And lost. It's not their fault I lost.
But you know what? They matched your bet.
They matched my bet.
So you really didn't
I didn't lose.
money.
I just lost their money.
Sure.
Not my money.
nothing
I
wrong
lost
with
their
that.
money. So, hey, you know.
That's great.
I almost won off their money, but I will go off on that on Sunday. Not this glorious Buckeye win
This
day.
is a big Buckeye
Not
win.
this. And I want to answer Chuck Roberts has a good comment that I like. And I actually
Appreciate
went
you, Chuck.
off. I went off on a tangent when this actually
this
happened.
is a great comment.
Would you guys be against Tate going in for some short yard plays? And he also said Drew Chrisman should be giving some recognition.
You know what's funny? Go ahead. Who are you talking about, Tate or Drew?
I'm going on Tate.
Okay. Because I said great comment about Drew Chrisman,
I'll go on Tate.
which I'll go into later.
Yeah, I'm going on Tate right
Okay.
now. Go. When KJ Hill, KJ Hill, we did it again. Going down the field in the 3rd quarter right after we scored. Well-oiled machine.
No.
We're just driving down the field. 1st and 10. I think it's about maybe like 9-something minutes left in the 3rd quarter. We had just scored already.
14-13.
14-13. Haskins just going down the field.
Driving.
Now he's got his confidence going.
Mm-hmm.
What do? We get cute. Hey, let's put KJ Hill in the shotgun for a direct snap. Oh, the whole defense doesn't know what's going to happen here.
Is KJ Hill going to throw the ball?
Yeah, he's not going to throw a ball. And this is when it comes to Chuck's point here. If you're going to do that, just bring in Tate Martell. At least he has the option to throw the ball.
Yeah.
At least the defense thinks, well, this might be a throw. We can't just sell out on the run. What is the infatuation with just putting in a receiver that we know is going to run? Okay, we know Haskins can't run. Bring in Tate Martell if that's what you want to do. I'm not for just throwing in Tate Martell in the middle of the game just to do it to make him feel better.
Sure.
Now, if it's inside the red zone and you want to have the run-pass option in a tight game, bring him in. Sure. It brings a different dynamic. Don't put a receiver in that position and the defense knows what's going to happen. Because what happens? 4-yard loss, sets the drive back. We kick a field goal, we make it. Penalty, 15 yards back. Miss a field goal, turned the whole complexion of the game around.
Yep, sure did. And we were in the driver's seat of that ball game until we put KJ Hill back there. And I'm one of the biggest KJ Hill fans that I know, and I'll go on record saying that I don't like that move at all. It's not his game. He's shifty, and he's very smooth, very athletic slot receiver, but he needs to get the ball out like on a mesh route or on a punt return where he's got some room, something like that. But when you, just like you said, I mean, you're exactly right. You put him back at quarterback to take the Wildcat snap, everybody knows what's going to happen. They can sell out for the run. We get a second 14, end up missing a field goal. There's a false start in there or something. And it's just, we could have scored there and gone up 21-13 and just, put the foot on the throat. And instead it had to be a whole hell of a lot more exciting.
I was losing my mind. So you wanted to go ahead and comment on his Drew comparison. As you see, I was fading away from the mic again. I am just blowing it over.
All right, Dirk. You got that fadeaway, bro.
Yeah.
The veteran. Drew Chrisman, I wrote down here, deserves a whole lot of recognition, just like our guy commented here. I want to get the stats exactly right here because he had 9 punts. 9 punts, 431 yards total. That's an average of 48 yards per punt, along a 58. Consistently flipped the field when our offense couldn't get a damn thing going in the first half. And some parts of the way through the third quarter, he flipped the field and down them inside their own 25 a whole hell of a lot of times, and Drew Chrisman deserves a whole lot of credit for his job. Even Coach Meyer said one of the best punting performances he's ever seen.
To me, he was definitely the MVP of the first half.
Yeah.
By far.
Best player on the field for us.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is sad to say when your punter is doing that, but hey, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why you bring in. That's why he was the #1 recruited punter out of high school. And why even programs like Ohio State and Alabama recruit the best at the specialty positions.
Great comment, Chuck. Thank you. Linda says she loves the Buckeyes. Clyde says at least they finally put a QB spy after he ran for 1,000 yards. And Michael Egan says Dobbins is an elite running back, but let's stop the Zeke comparison. Zeke is and was different.
Zeke is a different being.
He's a beast.
Yeah. And you know what? His junior year, I believe it was, or his redshirt sophomore year, Zeke really came on in the final few games of the season. Balled out against Indiana and then the Wolverines, and then he had the 3-game run, Big Ten title game, Sugar Bowl, national title, where he just exploded onto the scene. And maybe J.K. Dobbins will have that sort of effect, but right now, let's pump the brakes a little bit on that. Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Yes, and Michael also said he's good with Tate getting some snaps. It's different than JT and Jones because Tate and Haskins both know Haskins is the man.
There's been a lot of – I'm really happy to see the friendship grow between Haskins and Martell. They're always shouting each other out on social media, and that's good to see, you know, that there's no bad blood between the guys. At least we don't – not that we know of. I want to bring up a man we haven't talked about a whole lot just yet. Chase Young had an absolutely ridiculous ball game filling in for Nick Bosa. We talked about it last week. Without Bosa going into that environment, somebody's going to have to step up on the D-line, whether it's Chase Young, Draymond Jones, Jonathan Cooper. Somebody has to step up, and Chase Young was that guy. I mean, my goodness. It seemed like every other play he was in the backfield. Let me get his stats here. 6 tackles, 3 for loss, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, which were batted down balls, which one came on a 4th down, and another play on a 3rd down, I believe. He also had 2 quarterback hurries. Chase Young was all over the field, man.
He was a monster.
Whew.
I think he took it personally with Bosa being out to be the guy on defense, to pressure McSorley, to make him run. I mean, of course he's looking to run.
Sure.
Listen, I could be hating here, but guess what? I do not care. McSorley, I'm not impressed. I'm just not.
Really?
I'm not, because it's one read and run. He doesn't look for read 2, read 3. It's literally if his first guy is not open, he's running. It works in college.
It does.
It's not going to work at the next level.
No.
One read and run. One read, run. Against more athletic defenses, like, listen,
we couldn't stop him.
If Bosa was there, it would be totally different.
One of our commenters said that earlier, too. I couldn't agree more. But McSorley, I give him a lot of props. That kid's a gamer. And, you know, he's kind of undersized and is always making big plays. And after they lost Saquon Barkley, a lot of talk was, well, will Penn State even be good this year without Barkley? They lost Gesicki. They lost Deshaun Hamilton. McSorley's got them playing really well.
Yeah. No, like I said, I may be hating, but
That's all right.
The one read and run is not going to work in the next level. You have to, he literally, if his first guy wasn't open, he was gone. He just took off. It worked, but it's not going to work at the next level.
No, it's not. And everybody's commented in about Chase Young.
Oh, he was a Mack truck, I see. Dude, those stats, 5+ games for anyone else. Yes.
Dustin Russell said, has any other team played a Power 5 school each week? Good question. I don't know, but I do know that we played Tulane, and they are not a Power 5 school. Corey said Chase Young killed it, as did Laura. Brandon Canfield, Young saved our rear on a couple knockdowns. Chase Young was great, says Linda. And Amber says Jones was unheard of Saturday, wondering how good he really is without Bosa. Interesting comment. He played really well against TCU after Bosa went out.
He did.
But he, I don't know if Penn State schemed away from Jones and he ended up twisting an ankle. He should be okay to play this week, they said. But, Chase Young stole the show on the defensive side of the ball, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He literally took over. He just said, watch this.
Watch this.
I got this,
Watch me go.
Ladies and gentlemen. Alan says, yes, we really need to delegate the QBs if he takes off and runs. That was frustrating to watch. Alan, you are preaching to the choir.
Boom.
If I know what's going to happen, they have to know that's all he's going to do is run.
Right?
Run. One read and run. It was very frustrating, and you know how I feel about mobile quarterbacks.
You know, it's funny. On the biggest play of the ball game, 4th and 5, I thought, McSorley, man, we got to watch his legs. You know they're going to pass. He probably has a run option along with it. If nobody's open, he's going to scamper. We better have a spy on him because he's killed us all game. And then they run it right up the middle on 4th and 5 with Miles Sanders. How about that play call, folks? I don't know about you. When I was watching it and I saw it happen, everybody was cheering. Everybody around me was cheering, going crazy. And I was just, like, stuck. Mm-hmm. Like, did that really just happen? Did they run the ball?
I thought it was my TV mess up.
Without McSorley? Like, if it was a McSorley-designed run, I would understand that. But they give it to the dude we bottled up all night. He ran right into Chase Young, man. Like, what a play call.
I love the comment. And you're right. I love the comment Aaron Cox just made, and we've been talking about this all year, and you are right. What about our secondary giving up big throws, still refusing to turn their head around? I forget. I'm doing this guy a disservice. Penn State's receiver.
Which one?
84.
Oh, he's
when he mossed them. He mossed them and beckled him at the same time.
Oh, my gosh.
I said, my goodness. Now, I don't think there's anything he could have did if he turned his head on that catch.
Not on that one.
But it was just routine, like Aaron just said in the comments. Thank you for making that comment, Aaron. We still don't turn our head around. I don't understand it. And I will talk about it every week if I have to. And hopefully somebody will see this show.
I'll email this to Coach Meyer.
We'll see this show and stop and get tired of hearing me complaining about it. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
You'll get a penalty or a completion. They're going to start throwing it at the back of your head because you're not turning around. It's ridiculous.
If you're not turning around to make a play on the ball, the referees are going to be more likely to throw the flag. It's just, if you're not turning around to make a play on the ball and then there's contact, you know, that kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes. They'll say that's a good play on both sides, but if you're not turning around, that's not going to happen. Josh Robidoux says, if we are 9-0, I fully expect to see Nick Bosa back. What's your guys' opinions? If we are 9-0 going into the game November 10th against Michigan State in East Lansing, if he is good to go, I would love to see him because while Michigan State has not looked strong really at all this year, that is never a game you can take lightly, and you want to have your best boys on the field. So if he is healthy and good to go for the 10th game of the season against Michigan State, man,
put him out
sure
there.
Would love to see him. Yeah, put him out there.
Get that win. Natasha says, Michael wasn't comparing Dobbins to Zeke. He just reminded me of Zeke. Zeke is in the class all by himself, so she agrees with Michael. And my man, Brian McGee, what's up, Brian? He says, I don't get the constant side-to-side. It really works, but yet OSU goes to it nonstop.
You know, that's a good point. And I think a comment somebody made earlier, might have been Kyle Barr, is very interesting to see. And a few of these comments were made at where I was watching the game. It's very obvious that Urban Meyer is calling the game right now because it was a lot of side-to-side, a lot of bubble screens instead of trying to smoke them right up the middle. I mean, run up the middle with Dobbins and Mike Weber. That's our bread and butter right there, and we didn't see a whole lot of that. We kept going outside, and I understand you got to spread out the defense to hit them up the middle, but it seemed pretty one-sided. And it ended up working out for us. I mean, hell, KJ Hill's play was a bubble screen, his game winner play. We had a lot of plays like that, a lot of screen passes. And they worked out because the defense was over-aggressive, but it's a little worrisome. It's a little worrisome for me if we get into a big game like that and we just revert to this kind of puckered play calling.
Yeah, a lot of people are agreeing. They said they can tell it was Urban. I didn't believe it was Urban because when I seen the KJ Hill play, we did the same thing in TCU. And I'm like, well, Day has to be calling this game because he did the exact same thing. And it was kind of the exact same issue. I mean, it was the exact time of the game. We were rolling, and he said, all right, guys, Wildcat. I'm like, what? But a lot of people think it was Urban. I can see why they think that with the whole side to side throwing screen side to side. But Haskins, his deep game wasn't there.
No, it wasn't. And so, it was good to see the offensive staff sort of react to that and make play calls as such with his downfield passing not necessarily there. I mean, he had a couple balls early on that was great and dropped. It was just like, dude.
And they're using the wrong person to go deep. When they went deep, they sent Austin Mack. Why are you not sending Paris Campbell? Why are you not sending Johnny Dixon, KJ Hill? Everybody you should be sending, but you're sending Mack. I don't understand that. Brian said he feels it's too one-dimensional. And Corey says it's set up differently than Urban's old screens. I feel like Day has built on Urban's style.
I like that idea. I'd be, I like the changes that Ryan Day sort of made to the offense. And maybe he didn't make a whole lot. Maybe it's just the fact that Dwayne Haskins is back there. But the play calling did seem a little strange in this one, but Penn State was showing us a lot of different stuff that was giving us fits, and props to the offensive staff for eventually getting it done, and really the players as well. Man, I cannot believe we escaped with that win.
Man, listen.
Holy smokes.
I yelled to the moon. I think the moon heard me. I think it did. I was so happy we won that game. I really, really was, because I love seeing Penn State fans in pain. I just love it. That's so mean of me, but I don't care. I love seeing them in pain because they were so happy. They just knew they won, waving their white pom-poms in the crowd.
You ain't a cheerleader,
They
bro.
just thought they won. Yay, we beat Ohio State this time. They're not coming back. Oh, stop it.
Did you see that one fan after Victor's touchdown? You're watching right now with a beard, the wide eye, like, oh, damn.
Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know if it's on this highlight clip. It probably isn't, but no, it's not. But, man, that guy was like, damn, we got ourselves in a ball game right here. And there's Terry McLaurin taking out 3 Penn State defenders right there. KJ Hill stepping in for the go-ahead touchdown. Man, that was exciting. And to your point about watching the Penn State fans suffer, that was something my wife Laura said at the game. She was like, man, I'm so glad to see all those idiots in white just all sad. And there are a few choice words in there that I'm not going to mention because it's a family show here. But
I said a lot of those words.
Yeah. I had my little brother. I was over at my dad's house. I had a bunch of people over. My little brother's. He's just 7. So he's getting, getting acclimated to the craziness that is Buckeye Nation. And his mom wanted him to come upstairs. There was some bad words being used. So especially early on, a lot of frustration. But
You got a comment from Michael that I agree with, but I still think they should take the shot. He says Michael Egan says that they don't trust Campbell's hands down the field, which we see how he bobbles them. I still think you send them down there. You have to stretch the defense.
Yeah.
You have to show them we'll go deep. And if he drops it, he drops it. It's better than sending Mack, who's not going to beat anybody down the field. You have to take your shot. And if he catches it, we score. They're not catching him. You have to send him down the field. You just have to. And I agree with Mike. His hands are shaky at best. But he's our fastest guy. Send him down the field.
Send him. You've got to. And worst comes to worst, it'll stretch the defense because they're not going to – you think the defense is thinking, oh, Campbell can't catch. We're not going to guard him.
Or send Dixon.
Somebody.
One of them.
One of the speedsters, Austin Mack's a great route runner in short to intermediate routes. About 15 yards and under is where Mack is a technician with his route running. Anything after that, you're running a post, a fade, or a corner route, and he's just not going to get separation. Right. Of course, against TCU, he did have that 50-yard reception over 2 defenders. So, who knows? Maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
We're halfway through We're halfway through the show. Not halfway. We're half an hour through the show.
There you go.
I want you to tell them about our new partnership.
Our new partnership. Well, I tell you, comment your location, where you're watching from.
Yes.
We can knock these out here. New partnership with BetDSI.com. Folks.
Yes.
Check them out. Use the promo code Buckeyes18 for up to $500 free dollars. Free dollars. We talked about it a lot last week. Ohio State was favored by 4. Everybody thought they'd win by more than 4.
And they didn't.
Put your money where your mouth is. Well, they didn't.
They didn't.
But the opportunity is there. They'll match up to $500 your first deposit. That's a nice little gift.
And they got everything. Everything.
It's not just
football.
football.
They got blackjack. They got slots. They got everything. Football, basketball, hockey, soccer.
And in-game as
In-game
well.
betting.
In-game
Texans went down. You can bet on that. I should have bet on Tennessee going down. I had a
Mm.
feeling they were going to come back, and I blew it because I didn't have the guts. I was so mad at that.
Man,
But anyways.
man. Comments coming in from
BetDSI.
locations. Brian McGee in Grove City.
Grove City, stand up.
There you go.
Brian has another comment. I seen it. I remembered it. He says, what do you think of Urban's comments about players having to play special teams before they can catch a pass?
I like it, man. And it sort of shows, maybe gives us a little glimpse into why Benjamin Victor hasn't played much or got a lot of shots. Because he said that Ben Victor, when he came here, he really wasn't that kind of guy to want to cut his teeth on special teams, go down and make a tackle, or really block, be physical, just throw me the ball. Well, that's not going to work in the Ohio State offense. I mean, the reason Terry McLaurin gets many opportunities is because he blocks so well and he's so good on special teams. Ben Victor had a couple great blocks and a couple, he's cutting his teeth on special teams. He's fine. He's working hard at everything else in the game, and he gets his shot and he makes the most of it. So I like it. I mean, I don't know. I think you got to work your way. When everybody goes through hell to make plays for this team, you're not going to just give that opportunity to somebody who hasn't.
And we all know that's Urban's baby. It's the special teams. So he wants to see you prove that you can show something on special teams, and you want to be a receiver. Well, show me something. What do you have? Can you make plays? I like it too. You're just not just going to waltz in here and just be a star.
No, doesn't work that way.
I like that.
Brandon Canfield still repping in Birmingham, Alabama. Chuck Roberts in Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania.
Okay, Pennsylvania.
Char Miller, Moundsville, West Virginia. And our guy, William Stone in Huber Heights. There's your boy, Braxton Miller's hometown right there.
Yeah, Braxton. Shout out to Braxton Miller if you ever
Amber
come
said
across
the
this
same
video.
thing. Oh, here's a good one. And it's William Sloan. I was incorrect. I apologize, William.
William Sloan.
What was up with our 4th and 1 play call? That is a great question. Has this team never heard of the quarterback sneak? Apparently not.
Can they just line up under center? It's not that hard. Like it's like a lost art in football now. In college football.
I don't get it.
College
man.
football, at least.
College, yes.
You have a
Or maybe it's just in Ohio.
6, 5,
4-ish, maybe 3.
Dwayne Haskins, big quarterback, 4th and 1. So you line them up.
Strong as an ox.
Yeah, you line them up 5 yards behind the center. So now it's 4th and 4. It's not 4th and 1 anymore. We know he can't run. So everybody knows this ball is going to Dobbins.
Yep.
Every single person in the stadium knew it was going to Dobbins. And what did they do? They blew him up, and Haskins had to keep it. Terrible
And they
call.
accounted for Haskins, too, because they sent the house.
Sent the house.
And it was like, well, shit. What the hell was that?
That was terrible. Line up under center. You got the biggest quarterback. Fall forward. It's not that hard. I don't understand why people make it harder when it has to be.
Man.
I hated the call.
Hated it.
When he lined up, I knew we weren't getting it. I just knew we weren't going to get it. I said, everybody's going to get it, Dobbins. It's over. That was terrible.
Horrible play call. 4th and 1. I mean, run the quarterback sneak. Even somebody in Urban's press conference on Monday were like, do you guys have the quarterback sneak in your playbook? And he was like, well, when you run 99% of your snaps from the shotgun, you don't really practice under center much. We don't want to have a fumbled exchange in that scenario. Then practice it.
Right. And
practice it for 5 minutes a day.
And Brian just said in the comments, Urban said he's seen it often that QBs drop the ball when under the center. Okay, well, what if the shotgun's a low snap? We've seen that playing shortstop in TCU.
Shortstop.
What if it's a high snap? Come on. I'll take my chances.
Man, just practice it. 5 minutes a day, tops.
William Sloan, some good blocking and just fall forward. Come on, guys.
Is it that simple? Because it seems to me to be that simple. I don't know, man. You got a guy like Dwayne Haskins. Come on, man. That doesn't make any sense.
And Michael Egan said they need to watch some Brady film on the art of the QB sneak. By the way, Dave Biddle asked the question to Urban.
Dave Biddle is my guy.
Your guy.
24/7 Bucknuts. Sometimes on 97.1, a little co-host sometimes.
Dave
He
Biddle.
does it all. Dave Biddle's a good dude. Well, let's get to a few of these statistical information.
Some stats. You got some numbers.
Here. Where's Eddie Stats been, by the way?
Eddie Stats.
He's
You
been
know what? I
gone.
seen him at a Colts game, actually, on his Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was at a Colts game.
Good for him.
Shout out to everybody making comments. We do appreciate you making those comments, watching us, sharing us, loving us, and liking us. We appreciate everybody. I don't know about the loving us part, but I threw that in there.
Well, hey,
Hopefully they do.
sure. We appreciate it.
What you got?
All right. Run through these stats real quick. Dwayne Haskins, not his best game, but still solid. 22 of 39, 270 yards, 3 scores. He did have an interception, but he put that ball right on Rashad Berry's face mask, and he dropped it. Picked up into the air. J.K. Dobbins had 57 rushing yards for 1 touchdown. Was really bottled up. He had 17 carries and only had 57 yards. His longest run was 8 yards, but he did have 2 grabs, 2 screen passes for 61 yards, 118 total yards, and 2 scores. Pretty nice game. Mike Weber had 9 carries for 51 yards. Clearly the more successful rushing tailback, and he only got 9 carries. I don't know about that. On the defensive side of the ball, Malik Harrison, Jordan Fuller, and Tuff Borland all had 8 tackles. Good work from those folks. Borland also had a forced fumble, but he looked slow. Did not look.
He didn't look. He was.
Yes.
He was slow.
Yeah.
No shade. I'm just calling it how I seen it.
And lastly here, well, maybe lastly, how did our bold predictions look from last week? So we had some good, some bad, some not so good. I said the Buckeyes would win 35-31 with KJ Hill having 100 yards. Big games from Chase Young, Jordan Fuller, and Draymond Jones. Hill didn't have 100 yards, but he did have the touchdown. That was nice. And Chase Young had a great game. Jordan Fuller, 8 tackles. Jones was a no-show. Your bold predictions. 38 for 28, 2 touchdowns for Austin Mack, 3 sacks and a forced fumble for Chase Young. You were on the money with Chase Young. Didn't have the forced fumble, but he was a freak.
I kind of undersold him a little bit, but hey.
Yeah, just a touch. And producer G said 30-24 in overtime. And he said Mike Weber would have 200 rushing yards. That was not the case. However, I do have it noted here. His original prediction was 3 touchdown passes from Dwayne Haskins, which did happen. So we'll give him credit for that one.
Yeah.
It's only fair. I remember him saying, he's like, that's not really bold. So how about 200 yards from Weber? Let's go ahead and award our Buckeye leaves. Everybody in the comments, let us know who was your player of the game. Who are you giving a Buckeye leave to? You want to go first for me?
I'll go first.
All right, go.
We have this little before the game, and I seen who your player was. I had the exact same player, but I said we can't have the same player.
All right.
That would be no fun.
No.
Who's going to have the same player? They'll be like, that's terrible. I'm giving it to Chase Young. Chase Young
Everybody
was
in
a
the comment
monster.
section, but they're about to say, yes.
Chase Young was a monster. He was a mammoth among men. Bosa, he said, have a seat, fella. Get healthy. I got this. I will be the defensive leader. He had 1 face mask penalty. He said, so what? I will rip his shoulder pad off. He ripped it off so well they thought it was another face mask penalty.
I dropped to my knees when they threw that flag. I was like, no.
And then they said, oh, wait a minute. Nope, that was his shoulder pad. He's just so strong, his neck almost snapped. Chase Young is my player of the game. I give a Buckeye leave to Chase Young because he was, even though McSorley wants to run, he made him run because he was all over him the whole game. And then, like we said earlier, in his post-game interview was going to be on the all-time greats with the mouthpiece.
The mouthpiece.
All-time great. That will go down in history. Taking the interview with your mouthpiece in. Go ahead, Chase Young.
Until
my
Jerry,
guy.
Jerry Hemming pulls it out. Oh, that's good. And everybody in the comment section is agreeing with you. And my player of the game, who everybody seems to agree with as well, Benjamin Victor. His stats didn't necessarily show it. 2 grabs, 55 yards, I believe. But his touchdown changed the game. He came out of nowhere, man. And like you said, he was going to be your player of the game too.
Mm-hmm.
But I called dibs.
Yes, you got him.
You got him. I mean, that whole play just changed. It changed the whole game. Everybody on the Buckeye sideline after that play was like, oh, let's go. It's go time. The defense, all they needed was one stop. They got it. Offense just needed the ball back to convert. They got it. Got the job done. And, it's funny because when he caught that ball, he went way back for it, completely off balance, comes down between 2 defenders, and then he keeps running. I was like, get out of bounds. I was yelling at him. Get out of bounds. You're too damn slow. He looked like a kangaroo out there, man. He needs to put some weight on. But, he doesn't have the top-end speed, I guess, which is okay. But maybe he just made it look easy like Terrell Pryor used to do.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, run faster. But he was running faster. Victor, man, he made the big play. A lot of folks are saying Drew Chrisman as well. Got to give a shout-out to Drew Chrisman because his punt, 9 punts. You never want to see 9 punts in a ball game.
They never flipped the field position because his punts were so darn good.
Yep. Really big, mad props to Drew Chrisman. 9 punts, 431 total yards on his punts. That's an average of 48 yards a kick. That's flipping the field. Had a long of 58. So.
And Josh Lane said it worked. Man. I think he's referring to Victor. Yes, it did.
Dude.
Whatever works. Get in the end zone.
Maybe Ben Victor is going to be an absolute superstar now. Maybe that's all he needed. And there was a really cool video Ohio State football published, and I think you shared it on Facebook, where Ryan Day was giving out a game ball after the game. He said, this guy's been through a lot of crap here. He's cut his teeth. He's worked really, really hard, and he deserves this. He comes up in a huge, huge moment. And Ben Victor got the game ball from Ryan Day, at least one. I wonder if they only give out one, but good for Ben Victor, man. Maybe that's all he needed.
I was happy for him because I forget what game it was. You mentioned it on a previous show. It might have been TCU I think it was TCU when Haskins missed him deep. And it was his only bad throw of the game to me. He had a couple bad reads, but it was his only bad throw.
Yep.
And he came back head down, Victor, because he missed him. He had his man beat.
Victor was pissed.
Yeah, and he was just like, come on, man. You got to hit that in. Because he hasn't had many big plays this season. KJ Hill has, McLaurin has, Dixon has, but he hasn't had many. And for him to come through in a big spot like that, on the road, prime time, down 12, it ain't looking good. Haskins is rolling out. I'm scared to death. Oh, my goodness, he's moving. Help me. My heart's going to drop now. I said, don't run. Just throw it. And then he threw it, and I said, what's
it's high.
Yes, I said, no. And then who's going to jump and get that? Who? I'm like, Campbell's going to drop it. And I'm like, but it was Victor.
Our 164 receiver.
Yeah, it was Victor.
Man,
beautiful.
What a play, man. I hope that's
Eric Wilson. Go ahead and read that.
All right. My guy, Eric Wilson. What is your take on the Isaiah Pryor targeting call / ejection? This was one of many, many, many calls that I thought were against the Buckeyes in Happy Valley. There were a lot of calls that I didn't think were made. I think Chase Young got held probably 8 times, never got called once for a holding call. And all of a sudden we get a targeting call. Isaiah Pryor, it really, to me, I've watched it a few times now, it really looked like to me that he was trying to get out of the way, go out of his way to not hit the receiver. He clips him a little bit with his shoulder pad. They throw him out of the ball game, say it's targeting, but it's under review. I think, all right, well, certainly they can't go ahead and toss him out of the game for that. I mean, in TCU, there was a close call where Haskins got hit, and they called targeting and ejected the player, but reviewed it and then said, no, it's not targeting. It's actually 4th and 1. You got to punt. And I thought that was exactly what was going to happen here. Isaiah Pryor clearly didn't target this individual's head. And they confirmed that call in like 20 seconds? 30 seconds? I mean, it was so quick. It was unbelievable. I've never seen a quicker call made.
They didn't even look. They was like, targeting, he's out. I'm like, what?
What color is he wearing?
Are you kidding me? And you know, I equal it to if you ever watch the NBA and you see a flagrant foul and the little guy just falls on the floor and he flops and he falls. And, oh, man, that is a flagrant. My goodness. It was the reaction to him laying on the field.
Because he stayed down.
Yeah, that's what it was. If he would have got hit, popped up, went to the huddle, they would have looked at it and went, no, that's not targeting. But since he laid there and he was hurt and he laid down and he took about 5 minutes to collect himself.
Needed a sippy cup.
Yeah, he needed a sippy cup. And then he wanted to play. And they said, no, you need to go to the locker room. He ducked his head into Pryor's shoulder pad. What do you want Pryor to do? Fall down so he can catch his steps and run to the end zone? What are we doing now? It's ridiculous. When I seen that play, I said, really? This is what we're doing now? And like you said, they didn't even look.
Oh, my God, dude. It was like 20 seconds.
I was like, this is pathetic.
Call of targeting is
shoulder.
Confirmed.
He ducked his head into his shoulder. What do you want Pryor to do? Run away from him so he can run to the end zone? One of the many rants I had during the game, saying words that are not good for this show.
Well, you know, sometimes those words gotta come out.
Eric Wilson says hashtag Sippy State.
No kidding, man. God, there's so many bad calls. A lot of the commenters are saying the same thing. I mean, hell, Chase Young got held probably 10 times. And I think they called one holding call on Penn State in the whole game. And it was just
They didn't. I'm like, so you mean they're that great of blockers that they don't hold one time? Not once, not one hold, not one flinch, not one. They didn't move. Okay. I mean, if you say
that must
so.
be really good. That's an elite.
Now, our receivers didn't get held, but they're just great coverage. I mean, they're just so disciplined down there, huh?
Wow. Very, very, very frustrating. But that's what made it all better when we overcame all that BS, man. We overcame for the big one. What are you laughing about?
Brian says all words are good for the show. And Shar Miller says very bad calls. That's what made me mad.
I'm telling you, man, that was just an addition to the frustrating, we weren't playing well on offense. For some reason, we couldn't tackle Trace McSorley, even though we knew he was running the ball. All of this frustration, and then the officiating was garbage, man. Yes. I mean, good God. Which is so great to see that the Buckeyes came through and overcame all this BS to win the ball game, escape with a 1-point win. And, feels good to say that. We're 5-0. We got sort of, we got a little bit of a breather here coming up. But, damn.
I'm laughing at these comments. I love the I love the fans. That's why I love doing this. Voice of the fans. Man. Get our frustrations out because it's, we hear ourselves yelling at home. And now we can get our frustrations out here. Laura says, I lost my voice yelling at the referees. Words that I can't repeat here. Josh says, no. According to their coach, they're a great team, not elite.
Now, did you hear that? Did you hear about his post-game press conference?
I heard. I didn't hear it, but I heard.
It was pretty, let me know if any of you guys in the comments heard it. Let me know what you think. I'll give you a little brief synopsis. Basically, Franklin was fired up. James Franklin was, I don't know if he was pissed off, but basically it was like, we let him get away again. Our guys, we're a great team. We're not elite. And that's the difference. He said, we were good. We were a good team. And then we became a great team. And we are a great team. Mm-hmm. But we got comfortable being great, but we're not elite yet. And there's the difference. He's talking about guys going to class. He's talking about guys getting an A instead of a B and all this and all that, and really just motivating his team. He was fired up.
So that's where that comment came from. Brian says because they don't go to class.
Yeah. He's like, you got to go to class. You got to get an A instead of a B. Like, why are you satisfied with a B? You should be getting an A. And, he went off on his team, and I liked it personally. I'm not a James Franklin fan. I hate Penn State. And maybe it was just because the Buckeyes had just won, but I was watching that, smiling, saying, yeah, good for you, coach. You get pissed at your team after blowing a a big lead in the fourth quarter again against the Buckeyes.
Michael says it's because they skipped class, LOL. Laura says he was mad. Alex Green says OSU's going to get exposed. Barely beats PSU thanks to a bad call.
Alex Green must be tripping because the one bad call the whole game.
What call was that?
Penn State's 4th and 5. That's got to be what he's talking about.
Yeah, I guess. So
them get exposed.
So them being up by 12 and blowing the game. Whose fault was that?
Well, if Penn State didn't run it on 4th and 5,
right? Yeah,
we would have gotten exposed.
And that's what he put. If they didn't run on 4th and 5,
well, guess what they did?
They did. Their coach. And you know what? I give Urban and the coaching staff credit on that one. They outsmarted themselves. Because I guarantee you, their first play was a drop back pass, one read, run McSorley. Then Urban seen it and Graciano seen it. They said, nope, timeout. He probably said, do not let him run. Whatever you do, I don't care. Make him beat you with the arm. Then Penn State came out, seen what they did. Nope, timeout again. And they outsmarted themselves.
They did. They got too cute. They got too tricky. Even the Penn State offensive coordinator said yesterday, Coach Schiano won that one-on-one battle against me. That's on me. So the offensive coordinator, basically said that's my fault. But you see what Kyle Barr said to Alex Green. He said, well, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass. Oh, man. That is funny.
You got to love our fans, man. Shout out to the Ohio State fans. Shout out to everybody who's made a comment on this video, man. I love our fans, man. Brian asked, he says, do you feel the game is now Ohio State versus Penn State rather than Ohio State versus Michigan?
Good question, Brian. I think that it might be the closest game or the game, I think it's a close one too, but the game is still the game until we are leading that series by 15 games. And we're down 9 games. And even though the Wolverines got a 20-year head start because they were playing in 1890 and they were playing a bunch of frat boys that said they were from Ohio State and they've been playing for 20 years and they whooped us for the first 15 years. If you take away that garbage, I mean, we've got the series lead, but
and the last time we lost, I don't even count it because Braxton Miller was the only player we had. Mm-hmm. Luke Fickell was the interim head coach, and it was Braxton left, Braxton right, pray Braxton score for us, please.
Please.
Braxton. That was the last time we lost, and Denard Robinson was the quarterback. He was there forever, and they barely won at Michigan, so I don't even count that game.
If DeVere Posey would have laid out for that goddamn ball on third.
And to answer Brian's question, I still say the game is Michigan, and this is why. As hurt as I would have been losing to Penn State, and I would come in here and I would rant, and I would be mad, and I would yell. By the time I get to November, if I beat Michigan, I still feel great.
Yep.
I still feel great because I beat Michigan, and I ruined all their fans for a whole another year because they're always talking trash about us whenever they get a shot.
This is our year, bro.
No matter
this is
what.
Our year, Shea
no
Patterson,
matter what.
Jim Harbaugh.
Exactly.
We got the defense.
Whenever we're close to losing the game, regardless who it's to, they come out of the woodworks. Like, are you kidding me? Worry about your team, please.
You beat Northwestern by a field goal.
Worry about your team because I know if they happen to get close, they're coming out the woodwork. So that is still the game to me. If we lose to Penn State, I'll be mad for about a week.
Yep.
But if I lose to Michigan, I'll be mad for a year.
You got that right.
So that's still the game to me, no matter how bad or good they are.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And it's a good segue into some Big Ten football talk and around the college football landscape, which we'll get to in a minute. I want to remind everybody to check out betdsi.com. I did not see it, but go to betdsi.com. Our new sponsor, they're great, 20 years in business, top-rated, safe, most importantly. And they will match up to $500 on your first deposit, an extra $500 in your pocket.
And they
Sign me up.
They have more than sports, ladies and gentlemen. They have slots, tables, everything, and live betting. I have actually did it, and I lost on the Browns. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I will get to that on Sunday. But I didn't lose my money. I lost their money, so it is all good. I will recoup back. I will get it back because that is what I do.
It's their money.
I don't give up. I keep going, and I want you to go to betdsi.com so you can win and show me how it's done because I am 0-1. And
Promo code Buckeyes 18. Make sure to put that in. Get that deal.
And the link is in the description.
Producer G only told us about 17 times before the show.
And I know he's like, you ain't said it once, Corey. You are trash. And Jake, if you don't say it, I'm going to chop both of you in the neck. Link is in the description. Producer G, I am sorry. It only took us 1 hour to say it. Link is in the description. Man. You don't have to search for it.
What are we doing up here?
You can just click that mouse. Sorry, Producer G. Please don't hurt us after the show.
Hey, man, did you see Joe Lucas comment?
Yes, that's why I laughed.
Bro.
That's what I laughed.
He said, do I kiss my mother with that mouth? I think I've cussed one time in about 9 months on this show, and he's calling me on it, and that's fine. But my mom has defended me in the comments. So that's okay. She said, yes, he does. I'm his mom. I said, yes, sir. That's right. That is what I'm talking about. I am not I am not too big and strong to lean on my mama.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Kyle says you guys are awesome. I look forward to this show every week. Appreciate that. You guys are awesome as well. We look forward to chopping it up with these Buckeye fans.
Let's go, man.
Let's go.
Good comment here from AJ Damron, and it ties into the Big Ten football talk. Did y'all see what homecoming means to Harbaugh? Man, now this is an interesting I don't know. I mean, I'm running out of adjectives to describe Jim Harbaugh. And this is something that, I don't know. I guess I'm not surprised. He was asked in his press conference yesterday, what does homecoming mean to you? It's homecoming for the Wolverines as well. The reporter laid up the softball for him right down the pipe. Said, you played here. Now you're a coach here. What does homecoming mean to you? And he said,
alley-oop.
What?
There you go.
Swing and a miss, Jim. He said, homecoming is one of the best words in the English language. And went on to say, friends and family coming home. It is one of the best words in the English language. And it was so quiet for about 5 seconds until a reporter just said, all right. That was it. Like, who is this guy, man? I mean, I don't understand. The Wolverines come in at 15 in the new AP poll. Penn State dropped down to 11. Wisconsin's at 16. And Michigan State is at 20. Gosh, man, he is something else.
Amber said every time Jim Harbaugh picks his nose, he pulls out a little more of what brain he has left.
That is
Amber
so
Decker with
gosh.
shots fired at Jim Harbaugh. He will be picking his nose this Saturday.
Oh man, that's got me weak, bro.
Weak in the knees.
Whew. Man, that's funny. That is some good stuff, Amber. Oh man, Lee Travis said he's had pneumonia. Missed last week's show. Just woke up to catch the end of this. I'll be running strong next week. Appreciate that, Lee. Get back to full strength.
Get to full strength.
Lee's playing hurt, not injured this week.
He's hurt, not injured. Good segue. Speaking of hurt, not injured, I got some information on Mike Weber right before the show.
Mikey.
So our thoughts about Mike Weber has been right. I got this from Bleacher Report. Mike Weber has a foot sprain.
Oh.
He's been playing through it, hurt for halftime of TCU. TCU.
Wow.
Yeah. And he aggravated it during Tulane, but he said he's hurt. He's not injured.
Boom. What a guy. Still carries the ball, still gets 9 carries for 51 yards against Penn State, including 11 yards on 3rd and 3 on that final drive, man. That is good stuff. That is.
Scott Thomas says Hardy Balls never disappoints.
Hardy Ball, man. He is something else. I don't get what's going on with Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
Jacob Morris says, play a real team, G's. Not sure who he's referring to, but
Alabama maybe? Alabama?
Maybe. I don't know. We haven't brought them up.
Not talking about us.
Somebody help me out.
He's not talking about us.
Somebody help Jacob out here because I don't know.
He's not talking about us. Can't
Ohio
be talking
State's
about
played
us.
2 top 15 teams that got the job done.
Yeah.
And,
can't be us.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, that Chief.
And Brian's back. I think Jacob has stirred some things up. Still don't understand how Alabama and Georgia are ahead of Ohio State. 0 ranked teams compared to defeating 2 ranked teams on the road. Can they favor the SEC anymore?
Man, he says he's just trolling with a laughing face. All right, just Jacob, you got your reaction. Good stuff. Thanks. Appreciate
just
your comment.
Trolling.
Yada, yada, yada.
Just trolling, huh?
But who's that? Brian McGee. He makes a great point.
About to make him a statistician here.
He said, "Boy,
all right, Eddie Stats.
Who are they playing?
Eddie Stats is about to lose.
Eddie better come back.
Brian's coming in here with the gems.
Scott Thomas says Bama doesn't play a ranked team till week 9. I mean, it's only week 5.
Is that
We're coming
LSU?
out on week 6. I think that is LSU.
Is that LSU?
LSU's got a good one this week.
Come on, Joe
against
Burrow.
Florida. Dude, talk about Joe Burrow. I got some numbers here. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Week last week. 18 of 25 passing, 292 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good game, right?
Pretty good game.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Also had 97 rushing yards and an extra touchdown.
Wow.
That's 387 yards and 4 touchdowns for those counting at home for Mr. Burrow.
Wow.
Now, that is pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting.
I mean, I miss him.
I do too.
I was always pro Haskins over Burrow. But that doesn't mean I don't like Joe Burrow. If he got the start, I would have been over the moon. Let's go, Joe Burrow. I'm all in.
It is what it is.
So I'm really happy for him succeeding at LSU. And they are actually up to number 5 in the country.
5.
Man.
You know why? LSU has a functional quarterback.
Wow. Unbelievable.
What a quarterback will do for a team. My goodness.
Unbelievable.
Go Joe.
Man.
Go Tigers.
Stephen and Michael says, thanks, Stephen, for watching. We talked about this earlier, but we will answer his question.
What do we got?
He says, impressed with the way Haskins handled the noise. He says, your thoughts.
He did, like I kind of said earlier, he took the punch to the gut, and he came back strong, kept fighting, kept swinging. And when it was most important, I think he was I had his fourth quarter numbers earlier, and I don't have them on my sheet, of course, because I'm not a professional, apparently. Mm-hmm. But Haskins was unbelievably money in the fourth quarter. When it came down to winning time, he did his job, and well. And he led his Buckeyes to a big-time win on the road, 5-0. And we've got some room to work now. I mean, we can get some guys some rests. We've got all kinds of time before, the next biggest game. You got something you want to say, or we want to?
Yeah, just to answer that real fast. Yeah. Whoever watches this show, it's your first time watching, or if you watch all the time, you know I am a Haskins guy. I don't apologize for it at all.
Nope.
Now, I will admit that was his worst game of the year.
Yeah.
But I was impressed that he didn't fold. Down 12, he could have just folded, threw a couple picks. It's over. Too shook. You're going against a senior quarterback. This is
Who's
it.
never lost
never
at home.
lost at home. This is it.
That's something we didn't say tonight.
It's a wrap. James Franklin's got these boys playing, but no. Buckled up his chin strap, went out there, and
a winning
drive is a winning drive. I don't care if it's 50-yard bombs, post patterns, or if it's screen passes to your playmakers. A win is a win in a hostile environment.
Sure
Your
is.
first road game, that's what people are forgetting. And I seen this one comment somebody made, like, oh, well, J.T. Barrett last year was 33 for 37, da-da-da. He was a 5-year senior at home. People, come on.
It's a different story.
It's a different story. It's a different situation. He got the win. I'm glad he came through. He was looking shaky in the first half. The second half, he picked it up.
Yep.
I liked it.
Like you said, came through when it mattered. Our guy Bill Sloan, is it a sin to root for LSU even though they demolished us in the championship game in 2007? Good question. I really disliked LSU for a while after that, but they've been garbage really since then.
Yes, they have.
And maybe that's made me less I don't have as much hate for them anymore. But I think part of that has to do with Alabama's dominance for the last decade. I just want somebody other than Alabama to
yes, please, anybody
do something in the
anybody.
SEC.
And you can call it hate. I'm hating.
Sure, I'm hating. But now that, and especially now that you got Joe Burrow down there, an Ohio kid, was at Ohio State and graduated here. I mean, he's a Buckeye alumni. It's not like he played, 1 year, rode the bench, and transferred like you see a lot nowadays in college football.
Mm-hmm.
He's down there, and if he can be the Alabama Slayer, an Ohio State graduate who just, kind of took a free agent opportunity in Baton Rouge, gets the job done, I'd be A-okay with that. He said today on the radio he'd like to get a playoff matchup against Ohio State.
I bet he would.
He didn't say like, oh, I hate Ohio State, I want to kick their ass. He said like, it'd be really fun to, get a chance to meet them in the playoffs.
I bet he would.
Yeah, Joe, I'm with you.
He said that nicely, but he was like, I want to be.
On the inside, he's like, all right, I'll show you how it's done here. After 387 yards last week and 4 touchdowns. That's pretty stellar.
Stellar performance.
If you would. Another fun note is that Nick Bosa hasn't played in two and a half games and is still tied for the lead in the Big Ten for sacks.
Wow.
That is.
Come on, Big Ten. What are you doing?
Go Tigers. Brandon says, go Tigers against the Tide. We drop a game. Buckeye till I die. Stephen Michael. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Josh is in here. Good game last week. Thanks, Josh. Wish Iowa State could have done a little better for you, but hey, that'll happen, And William Sloan says he'd like to see Burrow do well. Alex Green says, I feel like OSU going to drop another Iowa game. Think it will affect your chances if you drop a game to a non-ranked team again.
Wow.
I think it certainly would affect our playoff chances if we lost to a non-ranked team.
It's not going to happen.
But the wound is still fresh.
Yes.
From last year's Iowa game. And it's not the exact same scenario, but a very similar one to last year. Ohio State wins in dramatic fashion. We come back in the fourth quarter and beat Penn State in a game we had no business winning. And spirits are high. We're going all the way. JT Barrett's winning the Heisman. We're sitting here saying Dwayne Haskins winning the Heisman. We're going all the way. And then we lay an egg against Iowa. Now, it was in Iowa. Definitely a trap game. But being that happened last year, and we get Indiana at home this coming weekend, I'm not thinking that's going to be the case.
Here's the difference. What happened last year at home in our first big game? Baker Mayfield planted the flag on the O in the middle of the field, and that was our first big game at home. We come back to play Penn State at home. Miraculous comeback. Everybody celebrate. Now, I didn't think this at the time. This is me thinking about it a year later.
Okay.
Celebrating. We're happy. I was celebrating too, running around my house. We done made it. We're back. Look at us. Woo! And that's what they were doing. Celebrating. Confetti probably came down from the sky.
We're going all the way.
Look at this win. We are good. And we went to
the
Iowa.
brotherhood.
We went to Iowa.
Yeah.
We're at home. They remember that. Haskins was there. He wasn't playing. He remembers that.
Yeah, he probably wishes he was playing.
Dobbins remembers that.
Oh, yeah.
Weber, everybody remembers that. It's not, to me, it's not close to being the same because we just, 2 big games now? We won. Oklahoma embarrassed us at home. And we were getting embarrassed again and came back. We thought we won the world.
Yep.
And then Iowa just smacked us.
Oh, man, that
on the road.
God,
and it's homecoming. You think they're going to lose homecoming to Indiana after just going to Penn State and making James Franklin throw his students under the bus? Not going to happen.
Go to class. I saw a comment from Josh asking if it is homecoming. Yes, indeed. Homecoming weekend, Ohio State versus Iowa this Saturday at 4 p.m. on Fox, which leads us to believe Gus Johnson will be calling the game. I sure hope so.
Gus Johnson.
My guy. Gus Johnson, an all-time great, probably my favorite play-by-play guy. He just, it wouldn't matter if he was calling a national title game or if he was calling a random non-conference D3 football game. He'd be as excited about everything that was going on, which is what makes him so good. Big fan of Gus Johnson.
I agree with, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree with Kyle. I made a comment, and I guess Eric, he said he agrees with Eric. At Purdue is the trap game, if we have one, because we are ready for Michigan State.
I think that's fair. G, do we still have the schedule? There it is. Look at this man.
Yes. G is.
He's
ready.
over there scratching his head like, "Can I go home yet?"
He said,
man?
"I got
Come on,
this."
man.
And he said, "Do I have the schedule? Oh, please. Do I have the schedule?
Do I have it? Well, let's take a look. And, folks, let us know in the comment section where you think the trap game is.
I agree with Eric and Kyle. It's
If
Purdue.
there's one out
It's
there-
at Purdue. I agree with that.
I would agree with that, too. Indiana shouldn't be an issue this weekend because we are so focused on not having that letdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4 p.m. start. We should be fine. Take care of business against Indiana. Next week against Minnesota, it was announced that it's a 12 noon game. A little bit of that. PJ Fleck coming in, row the boat, yada, yada, yada. Not too worried about the Golden Gophers.
Mm-hmm.
At Purdue, it's our last game before the bye week. Guys are dinged up. We're on the road. It's probably going to be a nooner, maybe a 12:30. I hope it's I hope it's a 3:30. I mean, so we're not early. We're not sleepwalking. But I think Purdue definitely is trap game worthy, just because they are very talented. They have, believe it or not, they are very talented. Purdue's got some guys to make some serious plays, and we're going to absolutely destroy Nebraska. Michigan State's not a trap game because whether they're top 10 or not, we know what they can do. I mean, hell, we barely beat them 2 years ago when they were 3-9 that year. And we know what Michigan State is. D'Antonio is always good. It could be at Maryland because it's sandwiched in between Michigan State and the Wolverines. I think that's the only other option. But a great comment here from Brandon Canfield says, they're all traps. We can only beat ourselves.
Interesting take. That's an interesting take.
That's
a
a
very interesting
philosophical
take. Very philosophical.
take. Wonder if he's got that. Wonder if he went and graduated with a philosophy degree with Urban Meyer. Could have happened. All right. Go ahead.
Rob says Purdue. Sorry about that. And AJ says, what do you think about Terry McLaurin getting Offensive Player of the Game without a reception?
Well, we talked a little bit about that earlier. When you do the dirty work, you got to get rewarded, and it doesn't necessarily have to end up being that game. It wasn't against Penn State necessarily because he didn't record a catch, but he was blocking like crazy, and he and Jeffrey Okudah are the main gunners on our punt team. And half of the reason why our punt team is so damn good, True Crispin's bombing punts, absolutely bombing punts, and McLaurin and Okudah are flying down the field. They can't be blocked, and they get the stop. McLaurin made a couple big plays on special teams, and then he had that one block where he took out 3 guys for KJ Hill's touchdown. I mean,
yes,
he deserves all the praise he's getting. It's a lot like Evan Spencer, I feel like, from a few years back.
Evan Spencer. That's what I was thinking about. Yep.
Now, he wouldn't necessarily make the big play or the exciting play, but a great leader, a great blocker,
Had that big throw to Michael Thomas.
Was always on the field. Oh, man. Maybe
Yeah.
we get a McLaurin to, Mac or Victor?
Yeah.
Hell, somebody. You never know, man. That is exciting, exciting stuff. Man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I really agree with Brandon Canfield here. They're all trap games. We can only beat ourselves.
That's right.
That's right. Well, should we get into some predictions about this LSU game?
Yes, get them predictions in the comments. How much do we win by? That's all I'm going to say. Who is your player of the game? What's your bold?
Go ahead and comment your score and bold predictions now, as you can see on that screen of yours. And we will get to them. Indiana really shouldn't be much trouble. They're 4-1. They beat Rutgers by 7 points last week. So while they are 4-1, that's great. But touchdown win over Rutgers is not great. They only put up 28 points per game. And, they've got some talented players. Quarterback Peyton Ramsey is a mobile guy. Freshman Stevie Scott. Stevie Scott. That's a nice name.
Stevie Scott.
Stevie Scott. He's a big boy, too. 6'2", 236. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. And he's got 465 yards on the year with 4 scores. 5 returning starters on the offensive line. They got some players down there in Bloomington, but I don't think it's going to matter this Saturday at 4 o'clock. The Buckeyes are, I've seen favored by 25. I've seen 28. I'm not sure that's going to do it. I mean, hell, Amber's saying 70-10.
70-10, Amber Decker.
AJ, 45-17. Kyle Barr, 56-17. I think it's going to be pretty similar. You went first on the player of the game, so with my bold predictions, I will start it off. I've got Ohio State going 56-17 as well. I believe we got that from Kyle Barr. Me and Kyle are on the same page.
You and Kyle are on.
I think me and Kyle had the
Y'all
same
are money.
prediction against Tulane, maybe. Not necessarily last week, but either way. 56-17 Buckeyes I've got, with J.K. Dobbins going for 150 yards and 2 scores, and a couple of young bucks on the defense coming away with interceptions. I think Jeffrey Okudah and Sean Wade both get an interception. There's a bold prediction for you. 56-17 Buckeyes.
So they're going to turn their head around is what you're saying.
Hey, it'll happen.
All right.
It'll happen.
I will take that. My score.
Hey, while you think about that, let me get a couple of these comments in.
Go ahead.
Amber says Tate Martell is going to be a breakout player and rest Haskins. I think that's fine. The good thing is we looked at the schedule earlier. We really don't have a game to be worried about. Maybe at Purdue after Indiana and Minnesota. But then we got a bye week. Nebraska's a joke. If we take care of business against Purdue, which we should, no real big game until at Michigan State on the 10th of November. So rest them. Rest up our guys. Rest Haskins. Canfield says we win by 28, allow 3 scores. But the O-line bounces back, and Dobbins runs all over them. Brian McGee, 42-17. Chuck Roberts, 63-10. I'd be all right with a game like that. Scott Thomas says Buckeyes win 3-2. Scott Thomas, if that happens, check back in next week. I'll have something for you.
This will be the greatest show ever.
Yes.
I may lose my mind, throw some equipment, and then I can't pay for it all, so I'll be on the streets.
Hey. Our guy Broderick Crawford, I believe, first comment of the night. Thanks for tuning in, man. 66-21 Buckeyes. I like that one. What are you thinking about this, man?
Well, I typed it down, so it is written. I can't change it, so you are a witness. And G. I have Ohio State 63, Indiana 24.
All right.
Now, I could be prisoner of the moment seeing our defense last game. How is Indiana going to get 24? How are they going to score 24 and Penn State score 26? That is just ridiculous. But, hey, our DBs are just scaring me, so that's why they get 24. I see a couple of deep passes just flying over their heads. But our offense will be unstoppable once again. I got your guy, KJ Hill, as my bold prediction. 7 catches, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Damn.
He will go deep, ladies and gentlemen. They will watch the film, and they will put Austin Mack back in the slot where he belongs as our possession receiver.
Bro.
And KJ Hill will go deep, and he will get a deep touchdown this game.
Hey, man, you got to quit bold predictions for the wide receivers, man. It never works out for you.
It's going to work.
One of these, we got hopefully
And watch it be
15 games.
Watch it be Dixon.
It's going to be Dixon. Who is this guy? Oh, man. What do you got, Producer G?
Let me give you mine because it kind of – me and Corey's are similar this week.
Okay.
I also have Indiana scoring 24.
Oh, shoot.
But I'll take Ohio State scoring 49. And I'll take John Dixon with 3 touchdown catches on 3 catches.
Damn.
Whoa. You talk about an efficient receiver. Wow.
Hey, he was a very efficient receiver last year. I think he had 19 catches on the year, and 8 were for touchdowns. Yeah. So if somebody's going to do it.
3 for 3. I'll take it.
Johnny Dixon.
Johnny Dixon.
Johnny D.
I feel like that's always his stat line whenever I see he's got like 1 catch for like 50 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Gus Johnson loves Johnny Dixon.
Yeah. And the reason why I said the deep pass is because I want to hear Gus lose his mind. That was part of my prediction because I knew Gus is calling in the game. And you know when he loses his mind, it's the greatest commentary.
Scott Thomas said, seriously, though, we win 56-7, originally with the 3-2.
Oh, okay.
Prediction.
And Brian says the 3-2 happens, he has a couch for me. So if I throw equipment and lose everything, hey, it's
nothing
good to
wrong
know.
with that. But one thing we do know, it seems like everybody's picking the Buckeyes to win by more than 25, 28.
There it is. Put it in. You know what? You know what? I'm doing it.
Do it.
I lost on my Browns. I should have stayed with my Buckeyes what I originally was going to do, but I got nervous. And I said, the Browns are going to beat Oakland. I feel it, and they should have. And you'll hear about that on Sunday. Going back to the Buckeyes. I'm going to win my money back. BetDSI.
Go to betdsi.com, folks. Enter promo code Buckeyes18. BetDSI is offering up to $500 to match your first deposit. That is some free money. So if you think the Buckeyes win by more than 25, 28, whatever it is, go get some free money. And it's not just football, not college football, not just NFL. They got everything. If it's not sports, they got, what'd you say, roulette.
They got blackjack, poker, roulette, slots. Get it in. Come on, y'all. I know you guys bet FanDuel, DraftKings. I know you all do. Don't tell
Fantasy
me
football is
don't.
the same thing, man.
Yes. Kyle said you can't predict wide receiver stats. They all have capable of breaking out.
One last thing about BetDSI. The link is in the description.
In the description, the link. You don't even got to search for it.
Nope.
You ain't got to go www. What was that again?
Wait, what? Can
Click,
you
click.
repeat that?
Because our great producer G makes it so easy for you and me.
That's
Ooh,
why
that
he
was
might,
good.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah,
Oh,
we need
I'm
to get
going
a
to go ahead
jingle,
and
bro.
I'm going to get that copywritten.
I like it. I like it, folks.
And Chuck, bold prediction. Chuck, I want you to break down this bold prediction real fast. You said Haskins will have a rushing touchdown.
Oh.
Will it be a read option, QB draw, QB sneak?
4th and 1.
4th and 1. Haskins with the running touchdowns, his bold prediction.
Man, a lot of folks are talking about the Browns in here. They got robbed, AJ says. We got a couple minutes. Let's touch on some Buckeyes in the NFL real quick because I'm glad that we only have a couple minutes because I didn't have a whole lot in here. The Buckeyes that did stand out played very, very well. I think Ezekiel Elliott should be the headliner for this one after an absolutely ridiculous performance on Sunday over the Detroit Lions. The Cowboys won 26-24, I want to say.
Yep.
25 carries for Zeke, 152 yards. Also had 4 catches for 88 yards.
He killed it.
And a touchdown. 240 yards and a touchdown. That's absolutely ridiculous. And he also reached the 3,000 career rushing yards mark. I mean, he missed 6 games last year. This is like, almost, he hasn't even really gotten to 2 full seasons yet. He's at 3,000. That is very impressive. A bright, bright future ahead for Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, he killed it, man.
Man,
He killed it.
I'm glad he's on my Buckeyes.
Your
Cowboys.
Buckeyes. Yeah, he is on your Buckeyes.
It's getting late. I'm so glad he played for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott goes swinging right. I hate to open this wound here, but a couple of Oakland Raiders did play very well.
Go ahead,
They played very well against the Browns. Garyon Conley got a pick 6. If anybody was going to
Callaway. Sorry.
Yeah, it is all Antonio Callaway's fault. It hit him right in the hands. Right in the hands. At least knock it down if you're not going to catch it, man. But it goes through his hands. Garyon Conley makes the interception, scores a touchdown. Really happy for Conley. He missed a ton of last year, his rookie season, with some leg injuries.
I wasn't.
I'm not a Browns fan. I guess Browns are probably number 2 for me. No jokes, no pun intended. But I'm glad to see Conley making some plays at the NFL level. That is very, very exciting to see. Also, my guy, Big Jonathan Hankins, a big defensive tackle, also plays for the Raiders, had 2 fumble recoveries, and there is your boy Eddie Stats.
Eddie Stats in the
we
building.
were talking
before we
about
close
you,
out.
man. Of course, he said, "What up to you, not me." I said, "Damn." All right, Eddie, man. Hey, man. Appreciate you tuning in. It's been a great show. I asked him where he was earlier.
Yeah, but
he doesn't
Smitty
know,
didn't
man.
ask where you was at. I said,
"Where's
you
Eddie
missing
Whitcomb?"
in action. I said he was at a Colts game going crazy.
You did say that.
He was at a Colts game, yeah.
Go Colts.
And Joe Lucas, shout out to Joe. I appreciate it. He said, you guys are the Bosa brothers of your profession.
Wow.
Very entertaining and very professional. He said, Tish must be a proud mama.
Thank you, Joe, and I promise that my language will be clean in the future. No problem there. Last couple notes here. John Simon in his first appearance for the New England Patriots, 5 tackles, 1 sack. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised about that at all?
No, not at all.
Just John Simon seems like a perfect fit for New England, and while I hate the Patriots, I am happy for him. And also a big win for Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans over the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Had some ballsy moves there down the stretch. Went for it. Could have played for the field goal, keep the game going, said, let's go for it. We deserve to win this game, was his quote. We deserve to win the game. We went for it. We got it.
I'm telling you, these younger coaches, man, are taking over.
They are?
Sean McVay, Mike Vrabel. You know what? Man, we going. We're not going to do none of this conservative stuff.
Hey.
Going for it.
I like it.
Andy
man.
Reid, he ain't young, but he's starting to get like him.
As Herm Edwards would say, you play to win the game.
Exactly.
I've got a quick side nugget on the NFL. There's 2 Buckeyes. It's Carlos Hyde and Zeke, both in the top 5 right now in rushing yards in the league. So that's pretty cool.
And Hyde's leading the touchdowns.
I've got another one. Yeah, I'm about to get to that. Zeke leads the NFL in rushing yards. Michael Thomas leads the NFL in receptions. And Carlos Hyde leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
Look at that.
Buckeyes in the NFL.
Taking
baby.
over.
Let's go. Eddie says, sorry, a lot of schoolwork. And what's up, Jake?
There it is.
My God.
There it is, Eddie.
Says, appreciate you, Eddie. So that's going to do it for the show tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in. You can always find us if you missed us here. iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, of course, Facebook. What do you got there?
Get that last comment.
What do you got there? Chuck Roberts. Thanks, guys. Go Buckeyes. We'll tune in next Tuesday. Chuck, my man.
Yeah.
We're here every Tuesday, 7:30 to 9.
Yeah.
Celebrating Buckeye wins all season long. Don't forget to go to betdsi.com.
That's right. Link is in the description. Producer G put it there.
Boom.
So when you click, it will work. I promise you.
Promo code Buckeyes18 up to
Yes.
$500 free. Good stuff, folks.
Yes.
So appreciate everybody tuning in. We will return next week, 7:30 Tuesday. Don't miss us. For Corey Boyd, Producer G, I'm Jake Smith signing off saying go Bucks and OH.
I.O.